Hello, hello, everyone. It's Amanda. I am coming in here for a few minutes to share with you some really cool stuff. So happy to be with you. So I have coming up a really amazing resource, and I want you to know about it. And I want you to know that I'm here to answer any questions and talk to you a little bit about this 8-week course that I have coming up. So if you are a parent who's struggling with your kiddos, if you are struggling with your own self-regulation, or your child is struggling with challenging behavior, if you feel like you're more reactive than responding in your parenting, if you struggle to communicate and really set those healthy boundaries, those limits, then this course is going to be a great resource for you. So, listen, I'm one of those mamas. Let me tell you a quick story about me. I have 6 kids, and my number 4 was what I call, or is what I call, a uniquely wired kid. And this child, from the time that she started really moving about, had just a huge high level of anxiety. It's very difficult to help her, teach her, to help her regulate. And so I found myself, because of this, really, really struggling in my parenting. Before, with the first 3, I mean, it was still juggling 3 kids. It was a lot. This 4th child, because she's just wired differently, it became so much harder for me to be present. And I just went on survival mode for quite a few years until I learned some really, really valuable principles. And I want to share some of those with you today to let you know what's going to be in this 8-week course. So it's called the Peaceful Solutions for Parents and Kids. It's a conscious parenting course. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're going to go over each week for the 8 weeks that we're covering. It starts October 25th and goes through December 13th. And listen, this concept of conscious parenting seems kind of floaty out there. But in reality, it's basically being aware of how you were raised and how that's affecting your own parenting. And then as you recognize your own needs, you start to meet your own needs, you actually have a bigger cup. You're able to handle more things. You're able to serve and to help your kids really thrive in their lives. And so conscious parenting is a part of that journey, becoming conscious of your own history and how it's affecting your parenting now. So many of us grew up in families that were not conscious. They weren't aware of the effect that, kind of this punitive parenting style had on kids, especially kids who are uniquely wired. And so I wanted to offer this class. I've never done just a class itself. I have group coaching, I have private coaching, I teach classes, I teach courses. But this one's really special, and I'm excited to be teaching this. This comes from Teach Through Love. And like I said, I'm excited to share this with you. So let's go over the 8 weeks so you know what to look forward to, and also to understand what we'll be talking about, how conscious parenting works. And if you feel drawn to this, if you feel a tug at your heart, you feel like this is, I want some more information about that, you can reach out to me, or you can go to wholebrainconnections.com, read up a little bit more about that. Okay, so I've got my visual up here, so I will also post this so people can see it. But the first week, we're going to be going over what's called making the shift. And in this first week, this is really about shifting from fear to love. Oftentimes, our parenting comes from fear or fight or flight because we are just, we're just surviving and we don't know any other way, right? Especially if we grew up in a home that didn't teach, this consciousness, or this being present with your kids, or understanding what's going on, or really understanding your own feelings and needs. And so on week 1, we're going to be talking about shifting your perspective, investigating your childhood, identifying unhealthy patterns. So recognizing your own parenting patterns that you realize this is not healthy. I want to change this, but I don't know how to change it. Right. And then setting goals for your family. It's a really powerful first week. It's a great introduction. Sometimes people walk away with a few more questions on the first week than all the answers, but I promise you, as you navigate through these 8 weeks, it'll make a huge difference. You'll slowly shift the way that you see your parenting, the way that you see your child's behavior, and realize that behavior is just to meet a need. Okay. The second week is called Building Authentic Relationships. So, at the foundation of our ability to have influence with our kids is the relationship that we have with our kiddos. Okay. And so, in this week, we're going to be owning your mistakes, like recognizing, oh, here's what I'm doing that I don't want to do anymore. And we'll give you the guidance to know how to shift that, how to change that, right? Learning how to be curious with those mistakes instead of just shameful about those mistakes. Okay. I'm going to show you and talk to you about how to repair disconnections. So, when our kids are struggling with behavior, we always want to go back to our relationship, our connection with them. We'll show you how to repair disconnections that we have with our kiddos. Learn how to move closer to connect, how to do that, especially with uniquely wired kids, maybe highly sensitive kids or highly spirited kids. Okay. We're also going to talk about how to focus on your relationship, not only with your child, but your relationship with you, right? Our our relationships with others is a direct relationship reflection of our own relationship. So we're definitely going to hone in on what are the needs that I have as a parent? How do I meet those needs so I can better show up for my kiddos? Oftentimes we think, okay, I'm going to get all this stuff fixed, then I'll have time for me. It never works that way. It never does. And we often find ourselves depleted, exhausted. I asked a question inside the Facebook group, how are you feeling today? Right? I got exhausted. I got depleted, running on empty, right? Just barely holding it together. In fact, one comment that I really loved was, it's like I have a meeting and I'm late for my meeting. So I'm running around with this anxiety all the time, right? So recognizing that as we meet our own needs and build the relationship with ourselves, we're able to build it better with our kiddos and with the other adults in our lives. So powerful. Okay, week 3 of this 8-week course is understanding your child's development. So this is not only their child development, right, but also brain development and understanding what's going on inside the brain. You know, I'm a huge brain nerd and I love to understand the nervous system, the brain, how that interacts with our regulation, with our relationships, with our connection. So on the week 3, we're going to be talking about how to regulate so we can actually educate. When we're dysregulated, when our kids are dysregulated, when we're stressed out, it's very difficult to teach or to communicate even, really. So this week, we're going to better understand development. We're going to start identifying missing or lagging skills with our kiddos. We're going to find out how your child learns best. We're going to get curious and discover that. Okay. And then we're going to also talk about how do we adjust our expectations to match our child's age and stage of development. So for some kiddos, they might be like, for my daughter, she might be 17, but her stage of development is more of a 14 or 15-year-old. And so when I expect more from her, I often run into trouble. So in this week 3, we're going to be talking about your child's development, how the brain develops, how the brain reacts when it's in fight or flight or under stress. And so when we understand this about ourselves and our kids, we're able to navigate challenging situations with more grace. Okay. Then we're moving on to week 4. Week 4 is learning conscious communication strategies. This is something really near and dear to my heart because oftentimes the way that we communicate with others has a huge impact. We might be saying all the words that make sense, but our tone has a huge impact. The way that we're feeling on the inside. We could say something, but really our nervous system could be really dysregulated or in a stress state, that our child or the other adults in our lives pick up on this stress, right? And then they oftentimes show up defensive, right? Or protective, because our nervous systems through neuroception can pick this up from one another. So understanding that and learning how to consciously communicate, and we're going to learn strategies that week. We're going to problem solve together how to do that with using language. Okay. We're going to give kids quality feedback. Oftentimes, when we're setting healthy limits or we're communicating with our kids, we don't always give them great feedback or quality feedback. We just kind of tell them what to do, or oftentimes we can use shame and blame and judgment and fear and criticism. We don't mean to, because we don't know another way, right? But we'll learn that in week 4, conscious communications and how to give our kids quality feedback. Okay. And we're going to also start noticing our nonverbal language. What's going on in our bodies, what we are projecting out, has a huge impact on our communication style, right? So think about that time you ever walked into a room with your grandma or your mom or somebody that was super mad. They weren't saying anything, but you knew, ooh, this is not the time to ask that question, right? Our nervous system picks up on where other human beings are physiologically, and we can either feel open and socially engaged, or we close off in a protective mode. So understanding our nonverbal language and where we are helps us to navigate challenges in our lives and in our relationships. Awesome. Okay, so week 5, we're going to ask, what makes me angry? Because this week we're talking about managing your anger and stress. Okay. And what I want to say about anger is a very important emotion. Oftentimes we've had anger shamed. Weren't allowed to be angry. Weren't allowed to express that. Or if we do, then people get angry with us as well back. And so we want to protect ourselves. So what I want you to know is that we all get angry. Our kids are going to get angry. And it's a really important tool that teaches us what we like, what we don't like. And we need to know those things so we can express what we truly need, so we can consciously communicate. So we don't want to make any of these emotions that we experience or our kids experience as bad or wrong. We need to learn how to navigate them, to express ourselves even though we're stressed or we're feeling angry. Okay. So this week 5, we're going to be talking about managing your anger and stress, because we all have stress. Okay. Remember, behavior is communication. When our kids are in a stress mode, their behavior is going to be erratic. It's going to be difficult, right? It's going to be challenging. But when we recognize, oh, my kid's under stress, how can I help them? Instead of how do I change the behavior? It's a huge shift we make in the first week, from how do I fix my kid to what's going on with my child. It's a huge shift. That's how we shift from fear to love. Okay. So in week 5, we're going to ask, what makes me angry? We're going to investigate how you actually express anger. If you were allowed to express anger, how you express it now. Is it healthy? Is it productive, right? Is it quality? When we communicate, is it quality feedback? Okay. We're also going to prioritize creating feelings of safety. How do we create an environment in where the other people feel engaged, they feel safe to be open and to communicate, right? And that takes some practice and work and some repair sometimes, and it's possible. And over these 8 weeks, we're going to learn a little bit at a time how to do that so you don't get overwhelmed. But by the end of the 8 weeks, the way that you look at parenting, the way that you look at yourself, the way that you look at your kiddos and interact with them will be absolutely changed forever, right? It's going to be way less reactive, far more conscious. Your ability to respond, your ability to feel all the feelings and then communicate your feelings and your needs, to be able to have a higher quality of life, to be able to problem solve, to feel confident in your parenting, to feel calm, to feel competent, Like that's what we want as parents. So often we come to a course, or we come and we listen because we just want to fix the problems. What do? That's what this 8-week course is all about. Okay. We're also lastly on week 5, we're going to learn how to find tools to help you regulate yourself. Okay. And to help regulate your kids. Week 6 is about listening with your heart. We're going to learn how to practice self-care. We're going to learn how to listen without judgment. Okay. Just listen, be curious, wonder, be open without the judgment. As we learn to do that, we're able to problem solve with greater ease. We don't get triggered as easily. We see our children as human beings with feelings and needs instead of objects in our way, right? We're going to learn how to be curious about conflict, right? Because conflict is an incredible opportunity to learn and grow, to express our needs. We don't want to get rid of the conflict. We want to look at it differently. We want to feel empowered when conflict comes up because we have the skills and the tools, and so do our kiddos, to be able to navigate it better. Okay. And we want to look beyond the behavior. Learn how to look beyond the behavior. Okay. Week 7 is about setting compassionate limits. We're going to learn how to ask, what is this behavior trying to tell me? What is this behavior trying to tell me? Such an important shift in the way that we see behavior and our ability to be curious and have compassion in that moment. And honestly, I would say even courage to just look at the behavior with that curiosity. Oftentimes we just want to take control. We want to fix it. We want to get it all handled. But as we are learning the skills of conscious parenting, it's so important to realize that behavior is communication. Our kids are trying to communicate with us. What are they trying to tell us, right? We're going to talk through feelings and needs, go a little bit deeper on this. We are going to be mindful and practice mindfulness with your own state of regulation or your own physiological state, whether you're in fight or flight or shut down, in fawning, which is that feeling of trying to say whatever it takes or do whatever it takes to make the peace, right? Kind of being that people pleaser, right? Or socially engaged, where we feel relaxed and regulated and ready to have a conversation. So good. And learn how to stay calm even when your kids aren't calm. It's a really, really valuable skill. Some people have that naturally. Other people, that's very difficult because there's a lot going on inside of them. When their kids are not calm, they lose it too. They feel overwhelmed. They feel stressed. They feel worried. So in week 7, we will be addressing that. And week 7 is setting compassionate limits. Okay. And week number 8 is using peaceful conflict resolution tools. So how do we navigate conflict peacefully? And that's what the name of this course is, Peaceful Solutions for Parents and Kids. And week 8, it all comes together. I'm going to put all of these skills and tools together. We will have been practicing them over 2 months. And in week 8, we're going to talk about creating new rituals and routines so that conflict resolution isn't as difficult. The family knows this is what we do when we have a disagreement. This is how we, handle differences, right? Or challenges. We're going to help you create daily check-ins for stress relief, right? When we check in with our physical body and we recognize, oh, I'm under stress, there's something I need, and we can identify that and meet that need, even if it's only for 30 seconds, then we start to wire into our own nervous system more calm, more control, more confidence, okay? We're going to learn how to make time for mindful activities so that our kids learn these skills as well. And we're also going to learn the power of affirmations, the thoughts we're thinking that are connected to our self-awareness. Right? When we understand, oh, I'm having this thought that's creating this feeling, and embedded in our thoughts are our needs. And when we can identify what our needs are, we can help our kids identify that. Then we have greater self-awareness. We're more conscious of how we're navigating our world and our life. And we can choose how we want to show up. When we're in this reactionary, punitive, judgmental kind of criticism in protection or survival mode, we have a very narrow vision. Our hearing really dials in. Our vision dials in. We contract ourselves, and we oftentimes want to control. We force. We are coming from a place of fear. And this 8-week course is to help us shift from fear to love, to build those authentic relationships and understand your child's development, learning how to consciously communicate so that you can manage your anger and stress and truly listen to your heart so that you can set those compassionate limits and peacefully resolve any conflict in your family and honestly within your own heart. I'm super excited to be offering this to you. I feel really blessed to be a part of your journey. And it's super amazing. So if you feel this tug, if you feel a draw, you want to learn a little bit more, I'm going to be going live and sending emails. So if you're on my email list, you'll get some more information in there as well. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about each one of these weeks so you understand how this is truly going to help you in your family, understand this idea of conscious parenting, and help you create that peaceful home that's filled with happiness and healthy relationships and harmony that you truly want. So, again, I'm Amanda Walker. So good to be with you here for a few minutes. I am going to go have some dinner with my family. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me. Again, reach out through Messenger or on Instagram. You can go to the link on my personal page or inside of the Whole Brain Connections group, and you can sign up for this class or learn a little bit more about it. I've got a payment plan. It is $200 for the 8 weeks. So it's broken down to about $25 a class. You can pay all at once, or there's also a 3 payment plan to make it as affordable as possible. So thank you for doing the great work that you do in your home. Thank you for showing up for your families and doing it on those really tough days. I honor you, absolutely honor all the work that you're doing. And I'm here to be of support, to lift you up, to encourage you, to help you learn some of these skills that truly will free you from a lot of the overwhelm and the worry and the frustration that happens in parenting, because the wisdom already resides inside of you. Sometimes we just need a guide to help us along. So I hope to see you inside of the course, and I look forward to sharing with you over the next 10 days before it starts all about the parenting course. All right, everyone. I'll talk to you later. Bye.